all the dignitaries on the dais, all those in attendance. Let me first congratulate everyone, Uday India, Muralidhar Rao and SOCHM for doing this exercise. Probably maybe dozen time I must have addressed a similar type of programs. Normally I take Make in India program invitation, accept it, because that is one area where media is not able to do much controversy. बाकी कोई भी इसमें, if you take border issue, there will be controversy. If you take something else, there will be some sort of a controversy if you try to think aloud. I am a person who likes to throw ideas into the audience and then listen to the reactions. But nowadays that's becoming quite dangerous. So I will like to throw it in individual meetings. Make in India is a very important aspect. A lot of people ask me how much FDI, and there are parliament questions also. Obviously it's a test of wits or test of trying to prove something. FDI and defense does not come overnight. In fact, I don't know, they are not recording your FDI also, unless you have not paid the joint venture in foreign exchange. They have already set up a unit in Hyderabad, maybe because it is coming in export promotion zone. It's not being treated as a FDI, I don't know. I'll inquire that. I'm not strictly worried about it. A lot of export also, because we removed number of items from the list, particularly aviation sector, for defense license, all those which are manufactured under this category, which were actually defense exports, are now not categorized under defense export. But I will only say one thing. Make in India is a very important aspect of the full operation for various reasons. In defense, you work out, we spend about 3,43,000 crores and prepare ourselves for eventual event which we ourselves don't want to happen. No one wants to happen. No one wants it to happen. So you are preparing for certain things which should, according to your own feeling, should not happen. There is war. So you are spending money on preparing for eventuality. Then how can you depend on third person for its basic requirement, that is arms, ammunition and all your gadgetry? The crucial time comes if there is a war. The real crucial time. This does not mean I am propagating war or anything. But what I am trying to say is, if sometime it happens, let's say 1971, it took us 8 months to prepare ourselves. What was the reason for that? Because we probably did not have adequate capabilities of producing many of the consumables which we require, and that is condition almost of many smaller countries also. So if you really are spending so much money, then why not make efforts to ensure that more or less you can be self-sufficient. 100% won't be possible, I am aware of it. Like for a very complex platform, Boeing platform or a platform from any helicopter unit, there will be ecosystem of supply. It can't be only manufactured everything in India. Sometimes it is economically not possible, it is economically not viable also. The number of quantity of items, it is better to get it from across. But your reliability depends on Make in India. Your reliability depends on local supplies. It will also ensure better research and development. It will ensure more employment. It will ensure more skills. It will ensure local industry development. And I'll tell you, most of the defense research and defense development actually has benefited the manufacturing unit and the consumer products, whether it is space or defense. The technology which is developed, they are required critical. For example, I'll just say, I want to develop a body armor or a bulletproof jacket, as it is called, which should not weigh more than 3 kilos. You end up producing a product which is very thin, light in weight, but is capable of taking a massive impact, localized impact. Possibly this product will have an civil application or a non-military application, because this will help in many other aspects. The bulletproof jacket can also create an industry of bulletproof vehicles or a security aspect, not defense oriented, other security aspect. So defense can generate concepts and ideas for production, but it is different from what you produce in the normal industry. Like, why can't we repeat the success of auto industry in defense? I am very sure we can. Export is one area where, for the first time, those who are in this business will tell you that government of India, I saw foreign defense minister and defense ministries promoting interest of their companies. Some of them are so aggressive on that I started feeling that he must be chief executive officer of that company. The moment they know, they are ready to fly and start negotiating as if they own the company. But this is happening, and this is not limited to one nation. It's almost happening with all countries where they manufacture, where the defense export is one of the big business. Why can't India promote? Of course, we will not specifically tell a name of a company unless there is only one. We will give names of all the companies, because transparency has to be there in recommendation also, capabilities of that company, but we can definitely brief the foreign buyer. We were not exporting. The reason was very simple. The Indian capacity was considered as not adequate for our own supplies. So we went for a policy decision. These are very small things, but tweaking these are very important. We went for a policy decision there where any PSU which is supplying to army, like BrahMos, your Pinaka, Akash, I think you should not have anything to complain, because I have already got these 3 aspects signed already, certain quantities, and 2 to 3 times these quantities are in pipeline. I hope you have signed the latest Pinaka also. So it's not that I know how much difficulty I faced, and it is very funny. The full project is worth 2,300 crores, and we were getting stuck up for 3-4 crores. One first problem was starter truck. Now everyone raised an objection saying that why don't you change the truck, the 6 axle, 8 axle, 8x8, 6x6, 12x12. One, it is not all of these are available in India, and even if some people have developed it, if I have to change it, I have to do the full process again. A lot of people don't understand this nuance of problem of defense. They will have to go for the trial, complete trial, recoat. Even a small gear change in a product requires approval in the modification in the contract. Now these are aspects which we are tackling one by one. It's a mindset also. It's not always easy to change the mindset of 10, 15 years. There is always a worry, a sword hanging on the head of officials that tomorrow someone will allege that I allowed change in contract. And this complaint will come from another defense producer only. I used to get about 30, 40 complaints every day trying to tell me that this procurement which is in the final stage, there is so many illegalities. In some cases I found there are irregularities, but in some cases I found that the opponent is just trying to block the process. The best strategy, cheapest strategy, 5 rupees or 10 rupees, I don't know, I think 10 rupees is the postal envelope cost. Put it, they print on the envelope also. We had to use inquiries and investigation to find out who is trying to do all this. Whereas there were some good information also, but in some cases I found that it is all tactic, trying to pressurize. So all these aspects have to be taken into consideration, but we have already gone for much improvement in offset. IDDM has already been introduced. Why 60% in IDDM? Obviously because we want any foreign OEM, if he comes here, he will have to make more efforts. Whereas indigenously designed product, a less effort in indigenization is acceptable. But there is a provision that this time, first time in defense procurement procedure, there is a provision that basically the spirit of the full acquisition has to be taken into consideration, and any changes or bottleneck faced could be addressed through it. Secondly, individual case can be considered for lower benchmark depending on the situation. I think we are understanding the difficulty of industry, and I have already requested the organizers to send me a note on specific issues. But I can tell you that we also have a problem. I have a problem. Now these problems are not, a lot of people ask me why you are not buying. There are newspaper report, ये खरीदना है, वो खरीदना है, ये bottleneck हुआ है, वो bottleneck हुआ है. I have to also see that I can't buy everything. It's like even if I wish to buy 30 items, if I buy all 30 items in one shot, there won't be enough budget next year, because they all require payments in schedules. They all require development concepts. They all require proper technology transfers. If you don't go through the detailing of all the small print, we'll end up with buying 272 fighters without really transferring technology. How do you explain that? That's because no one bothered that time to read the fine print. There are so many products we have developed. HAL is manufacturing so many fighters. Why are they facing problem? I'm not saying that they have not overcome. They have overcome it. But why did they face problem in commercial product producing LCA? Why does LCA program after 33 years does not materialize, and I had to virtually carry out series of meetings to thrash the internal difference. Even after successful trials, it was not progressing further. Today, we have given clearance of 83 for under IDDM category for Tejas, 83 Tejas with full weaponry and everything, radar, ISA radar and everything. Why was it not moving forward? That's because we were thinking everything in silos. DRDO now has been mandated to take on board private sector industry for development. This was not happening. And a new person who is developing for the first time I'm right now, before coming here, I have kept one file aside. There's one project, how foolish we are. Sometimes governments, they behave like this. This is typicality because we don't give weightage to many factors which cannot be put on the table or in the file normally. No, if you, for example, if a transport fleet owner is there and he has got 10 trucks of a particular company, say Tata or Ashok Leyland or any other company, one particular company he has, normally he will prefer, if he is satisfied, he will prefer to buy from one company only. The reason is very simple. As his fleet go on increasing, the number of spares he has to maintain with himself will be same. A particular company's 12 trucks, he doesn't have to keep spares for all 12 trucks, he can keep spares for 2 trucks and use it invariably on each other. He can cannibalize also. He can take out one spare from one truck and put it on another one. If you ask him to buy the 13th truck after 12, unless he is dissatisfied with the service or the product, it is unlikely that he will shift to the another brand. Now this is private sector because obviously he knows that even when he buys a 13th or 14th truck, he doesn't have to increase the inventory of spares. He doesn't have to find out new source of suppliers. But I have right on my table now a particular product which is a high-tech product used for a security reason, 2 of which has been developed by one particular company, and we require only one more. Only one more. The 4th one is not required. Obviously for security part I can't discuss what it is. It's highly classified and 2 have been developed by one company. The 3rd one, I have got a file where it is written that it is better to go in a tender. The armed forces had recommended that we negotiate with the same supplier and put up this 3rd one. Now this is where the problem starts creeping up. And therefore a lot of policy initiatives are being initiated. The governments also have one more obligation, which is transparency, fair trial chance to everyone. At the same time, I think if we properly assess the requirement of defense forces, we can make many of the changes happen. Therefore, it's very important that such symposiums come out with very clear recommendations, not vague. You can also, after discussing within yourself, also ask for meetings with me, but come prepared with the points. Pratyush is one person who normally does that. And I get a lot of feedback from him and a lot of issues which I have tackled, probably beyond his company's requirement. He has just focused some important issues where things are getting blocked. What are the reasons of blocking? I think SOCM and the platform needs to be, I am ready for it. You ask for time from me, I am ready to sit with your 6, 7 main. But we expect, while we will also change DPMs and OFB very soon into IDDM concept, slightly differently put up. But at the same time, we also expect that the biggies in the private sector also spreads their requirement to the small and medium. Otherwise, it may happen that government spreads everything. Government is expected. There is an improvement, definite improvement. I can tell you the percentage of small and medium legally required is 20. It was around between 9% in OFBs to about 14-15 in PSUs. Today it has crossed 20 and I think it's somewhere around 29% average in MSME sector. The reason why some orders, defense procurement cycle is a long cycle. It requires 3 years. I am still clearing the mess of the earlier government. I don't intend to point finger. This is not for blame game. But 2006 procurement process starts. There were so many errors, mistakes, casualness, that things have gone in cycles and cycles and cycles. Slowly but surely these issues are getting sorted out, and I am very sure we will make it. The road ahead is very clear. While I agree, and I remember story of an old man where someone asked the old man why he is planting a mango sapling, and when he probably is about 75 and may not be there alive to eat the fruits, he said that the fruits I am eating was probably planted by my grandfather, and what I am planting will go to the next generation. This is a story every one of us must be aware of. In today's world, that story gets slightly modified. If you use a proper graft, you can get fruits in 3 years. But the problem is you should be able to successfully develop a graft. The old tree still has to be there. In defense procurement, we have planted some grafts which I expect to produce result, but even there you have to wait for 2-3 years. So now it is 2 years over. Probably next year, 2017, is a year where the whatever exercise has been carried out will starting yielding results. In the meantime, one very important factor, let us not forget the program today at 5:10 or 5:15 when this seminar ends. I think the work starts today. So, because I had a meeting with few industrialists from another organization, 1 month, I told them just give me 2 or 3 pages of critical points you have raised. They discussed with me. Some of them I remember and I will do it, my memory being good. But I asked for that note, it has not come. At least here I expect in 15 days. While I can't assure you that all the points raised will be addressed in 1 month, you will find they are getting addressed one by one. Some may not happen at all because the government restriction, transparency, equality before law, equality before constitution. I am hit by Article 14 most of the time. You are not hit by Article 14. Private sector is not hit by it. I have to be transparent. The security aspect of it, a lot of people commented on my blacklisting policy. It took me so much time to get clearances on that policy, but ultimately we came out. Through that policy, a lot of issues could be addressed. There is a provisions in the policy which will ensure that some issues which are cropping up. Actually, by blacklisting, we have eliminated our sources. That is exactly what even OFB does. Their requirements are so stringent that a good businessman, one who has a good product, one who is capable, and one who has a business, more the successful businessman, more business he will have. And what he does when he has to choose, he will obviously choose buyers who are good buyers. If there are good private sector paymasters who pay within 30 days, definitely a supplier will first go to him. And if you find a buyer like Ordnance Factory Board, I am not criticizing, this is government procedure where the procedure itself will take your patience out. Now for a person who doesn't want more customer and has enough good customers, he will neglect. Even one who wants more customer and go there, when he sees that the profit output versus the work done doesn't match, he is likely to avoid quoting in such instances. The result is our ordnance factory boards are full of suppliers who otherwise don't get good business. I am not saying everyone is like that. There are good suppliers also. Let me be very clear. But there are so many suppliers who probably are supplying there as a last resort. It's not the preferred area. And therefore you reduce your platform of suppliers. So there needs to be more activeness there. There needs to be payment. You raise the issue of why can't these DPSUs pay their buyers. That I won't advise them, though for small scale I will advise them some benefit of payment, because DPSUs, while they should buy from people, they should also remain competitive. एक तरह से हम लोग बोलते हैं कि प्राइवेट सेक्टर को दे दो बिकॉज दे आर कॉम्पिटिटिव, दूसरे तरह से DPSU, इफ ही कैन गेट ऑन क्रेडिट गुड मटेरियल at a cheaper price, why should we pay advance? Except where development is involved, and except where small scale industry is involved. Steel खरीद लेंगे, why should he restrict himself? He should ask for the best quality at the cheapest rate. I'm not going to give advance. If I can get material by a good company on credit, why should I pay advance to another company? But at the same time, high technology item, the policy has to be different. If it is supplied by manufactured and supplied, developed, manufactured, supplied by small industry, the policy has to be different. We are working on it. That's why some time is being taken, but when it comes out, it will be a good, much better manuals. Both these manuals are being worked out, and I assure you that we will definitely, if you give us pinpointed areas, because now lot of things have been eliminated, they are gone. So now there are very few things, but critical issues are remaining. Like for example in offset, skill development, offset, give it to an, outsource it to an competent agency. Offset, there are more issues. Can it be used for venture capital? These are questions we are answering and we'll be replying to them very soon. But I think all these aspects now are limited to 4 or 5 pointed issues. Give us those and I assure you that the seminar will be worth it. Thank you.